All right, let's get into the top story of the day, and that's the Anthony Davis story. He aggravates his Achilles. Um, you know, they basically we just got an update, didn't we, Rob G?
Yeah, they said that his Achilles is intact, no rupture, but he did suffer a re-aggravation of his previous Achilles issue and a calf strain. So he's going to be out at least 2 to 3 weeks, most likely longer.
And you know what? Last year, when the Lakers were able to win the championship, Anthony Davis was that was probably one of the healthiest years he's ever had in the NBA. He's always been injury prone, missing games. Having a full season was almost null and void in his career for the most part. But here we go. And if you're a Laker fan, I'm just wondering, where is your degree of angst in this whole thing with the Lakers, of course, trying to repeat LeBron and Anthony Davis? Anthony wasn't playing well, period, to start the season. His numbers were down. I don't know. It just seemed like he had taken his foot off the gas. I thought after winning a championship, Martin, he would actually be coming out to try to be the best player in the league and win an MVP, and build on it. The pressure was off. Your championship's in your back pocket. Now you can just go out and play. And instead, that wasn't the case. Where are you? Because I think Laker fans should be somewhat concerned. Not only, it's not like this is some season-ending injury or he's not going to play, but that this could be an issue going forward, and God forbid he gets hurt later on in the season or in the playoffs. And number two, the competition is going to be even tougher this year. This isn't the bubble. Brooklyn has a three-headed monster. The Clippers have bounced back and are playing really well.
I need to see the Clippers do something before, the rest of the media anoints them as, the runner-up in the Western Conference. No, I need to see them get past the second round of the playoffs, wherever they're playing in. I don't care.
But you got to admit that they're playing, considering what happened to them. They didn't roll up into a ball and go into the corner. They're playing pretty well. That's all I'm saying. All right, where are you, Martin?
I'm not worried about the Lakers. I mean, have you seen some of these fourth quarters that LeBron has been putting together and the Lakers team has been putting together, even with Anthony Davis not playing as well as he's played in his last, over the span of his career, especially the last 2 or 3 years? And the idea that Anthony Davis is fragile, I think, is one that's a little old. He played 75 games his last 2 years in New Orleans before he demanded to trade and sat out, and that deflated his amount of games played. But the idea that Anthony Davis is an unavailable basketball player due to health concerns, I don't think that's been a real concern, at least in my eyes, for at least the last 3 or 4 years. I think that if they get Anthony Davis back, I was telling this to Rob G earlier today. Lakers are the 5 seed. They're going to make the finals. As long as they're the 5 seed or above, they're going to make the finals. I think you're looking at 4 or better, right?
No, but see, here's what you're not looking at. You're talking about LeBron's fourth quarters that they have to go into overtime to beat some also-ran teams, to beat Detroit. He has to play 40 minutes. That's not what you want for LeBron to be burning himself out now. Anthony Davis not being around and LeBron James having to play more minutes and do more stuff only makes him weaker as the season goes on.
At what point has LeBron James gotten weaker since he hurt his groin? Because at no point has this play dropped since that moment.
I'm telling you that in year 18, you keep thinking that it's going to go forever. All I'm going to say is at some point, this is going to hamper him. And I get where he's playing now, but I think it's unnecessary minutes, unnecessary energy to have to beat a Detroit or an Oklahoma City and take overtime and 40-plus minutes to play in the middle of the season. That's all I'm saying. This is not ideal. And the longer he plays, the more chance LeBron is out there that something can happen to him. I just think that this is more work than the Lakers want in a season where you already know it's not about not making the playoffs. All you want to do is make sure you finish in the top 4 so you're not on the road. And then you got your big guy, one of your big guys now, and now you have to rely on LeBron to play extra minutes for you just to win those games. That's not a good sign.
But, of course, you would rather have a healthy Anthony Davis, obviously. But I don't think the Lakers are too concerned about winning these games right now. And I think that's why they're doing things like going to overtime with the Pistons.
Then why is LeBron playing all those minutes and whatnot, if that game really didn't matter, they want to win those games. They don't want to lose
I'm
those
not saying
games
they're
to Detroit
trying to
and
lose them,
OKC.
but I'm thinking, and I can't imagine that Frank Vogel is sitting there on February 2nd like, oh my God, we have got to beat the Pistons. Like, that's just not happening. I figure, like, right now in this situation, what they're trying to do now, they got a new team. They don't practice a ton. There's nobody's practicing with COVID and all of this. They got new moving parts, even though the main two guys are still the same. They're trying to figure things out on the fly, and LeBron's going to have to be a big part of that, obviously, throughout the playoffs. He needs to, like, I think right now what you're seeing, because if you look at the stars in the league outside of Anthony Davis and some of the other injuries, these guys are playing at some of the height. And why? They're having less practice time, less travel time. There's with all these different COVID restrictions that are in place. I think it's almost a benefit for LeBron to be able to have these types of situations. And I think that's one of the things
I disagree with that. You're not, those guys on 30. Those guys haven't played since they were in high school. I mean, right out of high school in 18 years.
Yeah, but you
only have
went from March 2020 to whenever the bubble started back. That's the longest he didn't play basketball in his life.
No, but the other thing is they had the short off season. I'm just saying there's a point that it could wind up affecting him at the end because he didn't get his normal rest off. Now he's playing more minutes. He's playing more strenuous minutes and situations because the games haven't been easy, where if they were blowouts and they were blowing out Detroit and blowing out OKC, LeBron could rest in the fourth quarter, and those could accumulate. I'm just saying these are padding on to LeBron as you go forward. And then the other thing with Anthony Davis, yes, this might only be a 2 or 3 or 4 week injury, but it's still hampered and weakened. And you would hate that maybe this could come back to haunt them down the road. They might have escaped the bullet right now. That doesn't mean that down the road this can't rear its ugly head again.
That's why you sit AD for a month. I have no, like, if you're the Lakers, what do you care? Okay, so like the Utah Jazz are either the winning the finals or they're gonna come back down to earth, right? The Clippers are probably gonna compete, but like, do you really think that the top of the Western Conference is going to look the same without? I mean, I just can't imagine that Anthony Davis missing like an extent, like say he missed 30 games. I mean, I'm sorry, 30 days, right? So he misses an entire month, right? So that 2 to 3 week period. Like the Lakers go 500 in that period in time, and they come right back, and they're a 3 seed, and it's no sweat. As long as they don't rush him back, as long as he doesn't continue down the path of injury, which it seems as if they're not rushing him back at all. Like he said before in his pregame before what was the Sunday night's game, that he was saying like, this is the best I had ever felt, and he just got tweaked.
That's just player speak. Come on, man, with that.
Well, I can't imagine he would be saying I don't think I should go, right? Like
no, but the best I've ever felt or whatever. I'm not buying all that. I mean, you're not going to get there and say, oh yeah, this thing is gimpy. I'm afraid to go for a rebound. You're not going to have that conversation. All right, is AD's Achilles injury concerning at all? If you're the Lakers, I say yes. Martin says no.
So let's go to Dre in Michigan. You're on the Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. What you got?
Hey, what it do, people? Y'all all right?
What up, Dre?
Not much. Hey, another good show, Rob.
Hey, Dre, as you see, it's a holiday, and who's working and who's not. Remember that.
That's why. Look, you the LeBron James. I know you might not like this comparison, but you the LeBron James of radio, only because you can work with anybody. You can play with anybody. So
no doubt.
All right. Hey, Martin.
What's up?
Hey, on behalf of the Odd Couple Posse, we letting you know you banned from pigskin pickoff, man. You was atrocious, dude.
Hey,
that's right.
You cost me money.
Atrocious.
You cost me money.
Well, it's basketball season now. Let's move on to bigger and better things. Because how about I locked in the Heat +3 today, and now they're 3-point favorites. So if you had followed me on Twitter, you would have seen that this morning.
Okay. All right. I rock with that. But as far as it comes to AD, I would be very careful because if you remember, isn't that the same injury that Kevin Durant had when it was just a strain, but then he tried to come back too early and rolled it? You don't want to do that because not only will you cost yourself this year, but then you're talking about he out next year too. So I would just rest him as long as he can and try to make a good run.
See, Dre, that's what they're going to do, though. I feel like they're going to rest him as long as they can because this is a little different with the Kevin Durant situation. Because with Kevin Durant, you had a guy who was he was leaving the team already, and they were already in the playoffs, and they were trying to compete to win that championship right then, right there. And you saw they rushed him back in, what was it, Game 5, I believe, or Game 6. It was already towards the end. He shouldn't have been going in the first place. By the time that the Lakers are concerned about playoffs or finals or anything like that, Anthony Davis should be absolutely fine.
I don't know how you could say that. Like you're a doctor, he's going to be absolutely fine. He's got an injury. That's why he's not playing. I don't think you could be that confident that he's going to be 100% like nothing happened. I just don't see that.
Let's go. Let's go to Howard in Ohio. You're on the Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, Rob, it's Chris Broussard. It's my turn to weigh in.
Uh-oh.
What's going on with you fellas?
All good, man. On a holiday Monday, everything is good. What's happening?
Yes, sir. No, I just wanted to come in and say, I kind of get what y'all saying about, like, the injury because, like, that kind of does make you worry because it's like what Martin just said. Like, KD, it went from the calf strain, and then he came back, and then all of a sudden, then in that Game 5, they said that he ruptured his Achilles. But, I'm a Laker fan, so I'm hoping that AD going to be all right. And just to touch in on another thing that y'all was talking about, Rob, I ain't gonna say you was being a hater. So I'm gonna go ahead and say you was being a realist. But I think if AD come back and he's healthy, I don't think that the Lakers got anything to worry about pertaining to their record or like the overtime games that they've been getting into. Because if you look at the NBA right now, all around everybody's records is lower than what they usually are at this point of the season. That's just like the Celtics right now. Like the Celtics are 13-3. Like usually don't see the Celtics being as low as they are with their record right now. And the Clippers lost 7 games. The Lakers lost 7 games. I feel like everybody a little bit down because I feel like it's like a little bit of a
yeah, but I get all that. I'm just saying LeBron is in year 18. I just don't think you want him at this point. That wouldn't be your game plan. You couldn't convince me that coming into the season you want LeBron to play more minutes and more energy-filled minutes in games this early in the season. That wouldn't be the way you would draw it up for a guy in his 18th year.
I get that, but at the end of the day, you also got to realize what you're talking about. Like I said, I've been a Lakers fan for a long time, so I'm Kobe all the way, but LeBron James is the epitome of longevity.
He built different, bro. Tell him.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Year 18 is different from before, and I appreciate the call, man.
Rob,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's go to Adam in Salt Lake. You're on the Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. What you got?
Thank you for taking my call, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Nice to hear that you guys are doing your show on this holiday weekend.
Always the Odd Couple, large and in charge and live, even on the holidays. Thanks to Alex and Steve DeSega. I can't put you in there, Rob G. I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, it sounds like you're saying that Anthony Davis has to do a show up in May and he'll instantly be firing on all cylinders, which is kind of being disrespectful to the team that actually has the best record in the NBA, and that's the Utah Jazz. How come they're not seen as contenders to win a championship this year? Why does it always have to be LeBron James because it's LeBron James?
Well, the reason why
that's a great pushback.
The reason why LeBron James is considered a contender for the finals every year is because for the last 11 years he's been in 10 of the finals. That'd be the reason why off the top. But I was high on the Utah Jazz last year, and to me, I get they've won like a million trillion games in a row. I think it's like 16 of their last 17. I know they're like 15-0 against the spread as a favorite. All types of wild, crazy stuff.
How many teams that's winning? Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just saying, but how many teams that's winning records has the Jazz beaten as opposed to the Lakers?
All of that is well and fine. I hear that. But I'm talking about this is February. It's February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. We're going to decide who wins this thing sometime late May and June. Right? It's going to be around then. We have a lot of time now, and I feel like the Jazz are going to fall back down closer to earth. I just have a real hard time accepting that they're going to be they're the best team in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah, I don't know about how big their fall is, but they're pretty good right now. That's all we got to go on. I'm not saying that they're going to be the number 1 seed, but they will definitely. Last year when they got knocked out of the playoffs, remember they were up 3-1 before they fell and lost in that series. But they're a good team. All right.